What is up everybody? Welcome back to the crew 2, and in this video I'm going to go over the best Nitro Chemist part build you guys want to have for the drag cars for races. This is going to be insanely important, especially when it comes to these summits, because these events do show up pretty often. Now one thing's definitely going to be for sure though, is if you guys really wanted to, you could most likely use any vehicle of your choice in this class. I mean, I would say they can all do pretty good. Now I would also say some cars are going to do a lot better than others. One vehicle I have been seeing a lot recently is going to be the Hup 1 Inferno Edition. What is up everybody? Welcome back to the crew 2, and in this video I wanted to go over the best Nitro Chemist build set you guys want to have for the drag cars when it comes to the escapes. So similar to the video I made with the races, you guys could use any vehicle you would like to on the escapes, but let's be honest here, many of the escapes are going to be pretty interesting with the roads that they are on, and most of these drag cars kind of struggle to go in a straight line, never mind trying to make a corner. So I would definitely say picking some of these is probably not going to be the greatest option. Even the Hup 1 Inferno Edition being one of the best cars you can actually use in some of the races in the game as well because of that crazy high top speed, I would say this car is probably not going to be one of the greatest options for the escapes because of the way it handles. I would definitely say most people probably have the Corvette Stingray by now, but I noticed from the testing I have done, having the right Nitro Chemist set with the correct affix stats is definitely going to make a difference on these escapes. So in the other video guys, I did talk about how you're going to want Pure and or Frenetic for basically doing the races. I did actually decide to jump into one of the escapes using a Pure and Frenetic set, and then I actually ended up using my nitrous in the same location with an extra pump and pure set as well. I did want to show you guys how much faster the nitrous is going to go up and how much you can actually have it when doing an escape. Funnily enough, for the longest time I was basically only using pure and or frenetic on my drag car. I actually never had an extra pump build. I then wanted to go in there and really try this out to see how much better it's going to be on the escapes. Luckily it only costed me about 900,000 bucks and about 400,000 spare parts to do it, and that was just to get extra pump on there. Mind you guys, none of the actual percentages are perfect, but I did want to get this on there to really test this out. So one thing I did notice when running Pure and Frenetic is you probably might have a little bit more power when getting up to speed, but the biggest thing though is your nitrous is most likely not going to fill back up depending on the escape you guys might be doing. For the test on the drag cars though, I did want to do the storm drain near LA. I figured this was going to be the best way because you had to jump onto the highway and there's going to be like a straightaway where you can actually test out the nitrous, and then you can go around some turns and see how long it's going to take to fill back up. And one thing I did notice when running Frenetic is it did seem to be a lot slower. I've actually been running Pure and Frenetic on my drag car now for like over a year and a half, so you definitely don't have to change it up if you guys do have Pure and Frenetic on your vehicle. I would still say that's going to be a very viable set to have, especially for the summits. You can most likely still easily get a very high score on the escapes with that, but I've always wanted to test out something like extra pump on there to really see what it can do. And after testing this out a little bit guys, it's kind of insane how much faster your nitrous does go up. So if you were to be chasing some crazy high scores, or maybe you want to beat your friends on some of these, or maybe you might even be going after like a world record, I would definitely say extra pump and pure is by far going to be the build you guys will want to have just for the escapes. If you were to do the races, you will obviously want to have pure and or frenetic on there, but when it comes to these longer events like the escapes, I would definitely say extra pump's going to be better. I've noticed from the testing I have done, having the nitrous fill up much faster when running extra pump is definitely going to make a difference in the escapes. I was finding myself basically using the nitrous probably 2 to 3 times to every like 1 or so. I did notice having the nitrous fill up very slowly when running frenetic and pure is probably going to be interesting. And one thing I did notice as well guys, depending on the escape you might be doing, I was finding myself when I did run pure and frenetic on there that I was actually going to be slower. The main reason is once you guys actually use the nitrous, I did notice that red circle will catch up to you before you actually have it once again. But having your nitrous fill up at least one more time in some of these escapes, I would say is going to make a big difference. Even if it's by like 4 to 700 yards or so, something like that could actually be like 10,000 points in some of these as well, guys. So it's definitely going to make a big difference when you guys are running the extra pump. I honestly cannot believe it took me this long to really go after this set and actually test this out, because I have been running Pure and Frenetic, which has been really good, but I do feel like having the extra pump perk on there is going to make a really big difference, especially when it comes to having more nitrous and being able to go just a little bit faster on most of the escapes. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. I would say you really can't go wrong with either one of these set builds. I do feel like having extra pump on the escapes is probably going to be a better option.